As Jim said, I'm Milford Stern with the Virginia Department of Labor Voluntary Protection Program. How many are at a VPP site? Let me look you over. Okay. You good? Okay. This is the intro to VPP. So if you guys want to select another class, I won't take a portion. But this is for guys that are trying to find out about VPP and know more about it. If you want to sit through it, you're welcome to it. We'll go through these slides. But the main thing is there's two parts to this, the SHARP program, and Elizabeth's going to get into that. I'll take a few questions after this, and then we'll let Elizabeth talk, because we tried to pack 2 hours worth of stuff in a 1 pound bag here, so we'll see how it works. So let's get started. What is VPP? It talks about being an exemption program. What you're exempted from is a general schedule if you get in this elite group of companies. So what's going to happen is if you are on a list for a scheduled OSHA visit for compliance, you would be a high hazard industry typically. Then you'll be off that list. It doesn't exempt you from OSHA compliance. I mean, you're supposed to already know what the standards are and be in compliance. So some people have a different interpretation of that. Just want to straighten it out. It is a recognition program. This is the highest level of recognition in safety and health in the country. It's a gold standard. If you're in this program, you're in an elite group. There are 2 levels in Virginia. I gave you a handout that says OSHA's VPP. That's written by Norm Deach. He's out of Region 1 and now a consultant. And it's out of the ASFC magazine. Good article. We don't have some of the components that are mentioned in there because we're not a federal program, we're a state program. We don't have challenge. We don't have demonstration star. We don't have construction in Virginia. So anybody in construction? Okay, you might talk about, y'all have sharp construction, don't have sharp construction. So there's 5 other classes if you want to help yourself, but we don't really have the staff to do it.
I just want to take
No problem, glad to have you, glad to have you.
5 are jobs already.
Okay, glad to have you, but just want to, give you a heads up. You want something else you want to see. Okay. But these are the 2 levels we offer. We'll explain them here in a second. It is a foundation for continuous improvement. This is not a resting place. Once you get in the program, it's not a flag. Necessarily you get flagged, but it is a continuous improvement program also. You follow the tenets of VPP. And it is voluntary, and that's the key word here. It's voluntary with the state, it's voluntary with your labor force, and it's voluntary with management. At any time, if we detect a dropping of interest or a dropping of performance, there may be questions later in the program. Essentially, you sign a letter saying you'll find what we fix, you'll keep your employees informed, and you'll report to us every year. And that letter holds us as a bond. There's not a standard for VPP. It's just a management program that you follow these tenets, and I'll show you this. And there are no fees. Anybody ISO? Okay. Probably saving more money there. But some folks are ISO. There's a lot of fees in that. No, there's no fees for us to talk to, come by and visit with you. There's no fees to be in the program. There's no fees for the audits. And there's no fees to maintain your membership in the program. The 2 levels we have are STAR. That's the highest level. That's what we expect to have as STAR sites. That's what we're working towards. We have 50 sites that have passed through the program and are obtaining STAR. We now have 42 that are active. We've had 6 go out of business, and 2 their business changed and they had to pull out. It's the 3-year average for your STAR and TCR for your industry. You have to stay below that. For a lot of sites, that's not a big issue, but for some industries, the rates are coming way down. So you got to pay attention. Your rate may exceed that. So your 3-year average has to keep you below that average to get in the program and stay in the program. We reevaluate you every 3 years. That means we come out and visit with you, bring an audit team, go through the books, talk to folks, look at things.
Excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you identify what the industry average is?
No, you do. BLS. Yeah, you'll check it out. We'll check it out with you. And when we identify your next code and whatever's in that next code, you have to stay at or below. Now, you could have a bad year in there, so it's a 3-year rolling average. But some industries are getting in the 1s for rates, so that's getting very hard. And if you're a small site, there's some exemptions for small sites. If you're below 250 employees, that's considered a smaller site. And there's an allowance. The problem is that at those ranges, you get a couple of injuries. So we'll make some allowances, but it's not very many. The merits, this would be if we work together and the applicant would miss something. It doesn't happen but so often, but every now and then we've had a couple of merit sites. And that we considered them star on paper. We visited with them, talked with their people before we got in there for the audit, and then the audit discovered something. And so, I'm sorry. Crazy slide. But it's a stepping stone. If you're in the VPP program, if you're a merit site, and in that handout, if you're in demonstration or star, you're in VPP. But we want everybody to be a star site and qualify for that. And we'll set some goals for you. The max you can be in is 3 years, but usually in a year, you're in, if you're performing well, you're going to get in star. And it's a select group, so size doesn't matter. We have a lot of sites in the federal. This is federal. The largest site is in Virginia, but it's a federal site. It's Newport News Shipbuilding. There are over 25,000 employees. In Virginia, we don't have that large employer. Ours are about, the largest one's 1,350, it's Lockheed Martin. We have a lot of small sites and a lot of medium sites. The last one to get in was 250 people. So it's spread out over, and the next one to get in is going to be 36. So it's quite a range of sizes. It started in 1982 as a federal program, and the first sites that got in were, this is before computers, so there's a lot of paperwork involved. Most everything's electronic now. But now we're up to 2,300 over 2,300 in the country, and that's in all states and federal and state programs. And then the states represent about a third of the number, and Virginia's in that number. We started in 1996. If you look at our group here, we're in the top 5 for size. These are the largest one's North Carolina. They have about 7 people in this program scattered throughout the state that keep it rolling. They do include construction. So if you're down in North Carolina, you can try Carolina Star construction. And there's some sites that have come into Virginia. We welcome you to work here, but you wouldn't be recognized here as a star site. It's early on, it was a high hazard industry group that approached VPP. If you look at the chemical industry got in, paper industry, things like that. And there were a lot of union sites in this, and some folks said it was a union program. Not necessarily. We were about even with the federal side. It's about a little less than a third that were union participants, the sites. If you look at the top industries, it's spread out over quite a few things. There's chemical, lumber, paper, a lot of trucking and warehousing in this. So it's a wide variety in the national level. And if you look at us, we've got quite a few. And I'm sorry, this crazy slide, I've tried to, it catches. But we have, all these industries are represented. Donnelly is printing here in Salem, Salem, Lynchburg. The one of interest here is the correctional facilities. These are the only 2 prisons, if you will, in the country in the program. And very few state agencies are in this, and very few local and municipal governments are in this. But the ones that are have really enjoyed some savings. These 2 sites, one's a lower security, level 2, and one's a medium, level 4. And the highest would be like Red Onion is a supermax, would be a 6 for levels of inmate population. And if you took the Lindenberg site, they got in at 01. They have 5, they're one of 5 that they took the blueprints and built throughout the state. They compared them, and if all 5 had been in the program as long as Lindenberg has, probably would have saved about $13 million over their time, over their history of taxpayer money for workers' comp. Plus a lot of other things. I'll show you some other benefits. I'm going to rip through this pretty quick. These are warehousing companies. Toray is a plastic Japanese company. Cargill is very interested in this program. They have the Dayton complex up there that's got 6 sites. And they're working towards getting those sites in where they process turkeys and gourmet cuts of turkey and things like that. Continental is an automotive parts. Manchester Tank was they make propane tanks down there in Petersburg. Siegel Chemicals has been in a good while. There's a PSM site. We have 6 process safety management sites. A lot of them are in because of ammonia, but some are in because of chemicals they handle. Here's the Forest Products International Paper has really a total of 6. They have 2 warehouses in this, so no one company dominates the program out of the 42. The electric industry like this. Dominion Power has their 2 nuclear sites in the program, and they're looking at getting their fossil and hybrid sites in. Frito-Lay in Lynchburg, and Planters Peanuts down in Suffolk. We had to remove Gildan. Sorry about the slide there. Lockheed Martin General Electric, they have 3 3, now soon to be 4 sites in the program. They have 120 sites throughout the country, General Electric. Also, the post office has over 200 sites in the program of those 2,300 sites. And the federal government now has agencies that are getting in it, and the Department of Defense is looking really closely at it. I think the workers' comp bill for DOD was about $10 billion last year. So they're looking at this as a cost savings for their program. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any companies in the program that are predominantly an office setting?
Regular, ASI, Advanced Services, that's a GE company that's a call center. And they have done very well with ergonomics, office safety, workplace violence, done quite a few things for security. So it'd be a place to visit. They're in Norfolk. And I talked to Delta Airlines when they called about 4 years ago. I've been doing this job for 4 years. I was in enforcement for 14. And I was one of the volunteers. You could come on with the team once or twice a year. You could volunteer and go on the audits. And when I first heard from Delta, when I first started, I was going to book an airline. It doesn't sound that hard. But as you look at it, their industry rate is 10.2. It's huge. This site's usually in the 3 to 4 range. They have a full vertical site there, what they call above the wing and below the wing, and maintenance and stores, which is a warehouse for parts, and a mechanics bay in there. So it's an interesting site. They have about 14 to 16 sites. I'm not sure exactly the number now throughout the country, but Delta is the only airline in VPP, but they've enjoyed quite a bit of cost savings and now really a leadership in safety in the airline industry. But to think about a 10.2, that means that's the average. Somebody's above that. You get the average. That's a huge number. All right, we'll get to that. Here's the growth in Virginia. One issue as you approach this is scheduling. I'm the only guy that gets paid to do VPP in Virginia. Everybody else you're going to deal with if you go into VPP is a volunteer. The guys that come to you and mentor, the guys that come on the teams, I have to find help to do this. The taxpayers want to do this, but they don't have much money to do it with. So what happens to us is we've got to come back and see to recertify. And you can see we're having recertifications, 9, 7, 5. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm a tour guide. I'm a travel agent. I've got to go see you to get you ready for this. So there's quite a bit of investment in getting you ready for it, just a recertification, much less getting you in the program. And these are just continuing to increase. We had, this last year, we had 5 sites join us, so there's 14 in the calendar year, and this year we'll probably have 18. We're getting better at it, but it's just there's a physical limit to how much we can accomplish in 1 year. First site is Salem, right here. GE. Some of the folks are here. There you go. They're still in the program, enjoying some of the benefits. They actually do a presentation next door here for the next session. They've done a lot with ergonomics. Did you guys win again in ergonomics?
We came in second.
Came in second, yeah, but they've consistently, they've made a huge investment in ergonomic training and consistently done the lean events that they've done. One. Now, this is a business unit or all of the GE for that second place?
No, the GE won the first 2 spots, tied for 2, and our site took second. So GE took all of them.
There you go. Okay. Well, if you want to learn about it, it'll be next door at Temple. There's 24 different companies. We're up to 42. I'm sorry, we had to turn these slides in earlier, so they're out of range. And then 23 different industries. So there's no one dominant player. There's no one dominant industry in this. Let me rip through this. What does it do for you? Enhance worker safety. You get to develop a cooperative relationship. And this is an interesting network of people. Some of the folks, I don't know when they sleep. We have guys that are EHS professionals. They're emergency response or fire professionals too. They conduct JC work. I can't think of all the things they do. I look at some of these folks in this program, I don't know when they sleep, but they will help you. And that's what I ask new sites. What are you going to give to the program? How are you going to help this program? What leadership are you bringing to the program that you're going to train other folks that are interested in improving their safety and getting in VPP? So it's a cooperative relationship. It's a handshake and a letter. That's all this is. And it's a recognition program. Increasingly, I'm getting calls from folks that are national companies that want to do this. Some of you may be in the room. Your company said we're getting in VPP. This is happening all over the country. Am I getting out of the green period? It's not